Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I am Analia. I'm the owner of New Culture Marketing Agency based in Wollongong, Australia. In today's video, I will be talking about iOS for Shopify store owners and the effects that that's had on Facebook and how you can implement certain things to regain a bit of that revenue and get around it a little bit. So, what is iOS? For those that don't know, it was an update from Apple that now allows users to opt out of tracking. So, previously, if you don't particularly know what this is, if you see an ad that says, do you want to buy this after you've just looked on the website, that's what that was. It was tracking you. And now people are able to opt out of that. They can also opt out of tracking for other things like conversions and for interests. It just means you can't track them. So it's really caused a few issues. What are the effects? So it's reduced the amount of people in audience selections, impacting the accuracy of campaigns. So maybe an audience before was like 1 million, and now with people being able to opt out, it's dropped way below that. So we're not able to accurately target people like we used to do, 6 months ago, which is making targeting much harder. In return, the return on ad spend is decreasing and the cost per acquisition is going up. It is much harder to retarget and use pixel data because it has limited pixel tracking. But the good news is it has not affected customer list, Facebook engagement targeting, Instagram engagement targeting, and it has increased. Now, this is more of an opinion, but it is increasing the quality of marketing. See, you can retarget people that interact with your Facebook page. So before, you could just target cold traffic. You could be very precise, put your ad in front of someone that's never seen you before and almost get a sale instantly. Whereas now, you actually have to be a bit more clever. You've got to build an email list. You've got to have those pop-ups on your website with an offer. So it's increasing the quality of marketing because it's not just lazy marketing. You've actually got to get into your customer's mind. What would be a great offer? What can I give them? It's forcing people to give more value. You're posting on Facebook and Instagram, making sure people are engaging because those are the people that you're able to retarget. So it's a lot more work, but in return, the quality of marketing is increasing. Bad news, a bit more bad news. There are also significant delays in tracking. Now, this is an issue because when you're, for us personally, we would do 3 days and we would know, no, that's not performing, kill it, or that one's doing well, let's duplicate it and scale it up. But now it's not reflecting. You might have 500 sales for a day in your e-commerce store, but it's only reflecting 400 on Facebook because there is significant delays in tracking. They have a time frame that they now will randomly send that information, whereas it used to be in real time. So how can we get around these issues? So UTM tracking, you'll see there this is our website, newculture.com/home. So this would be the home page, and then we've added this bit of coding to the end of it. Now that just basically means that person has come from Google. Now I could do this exact same URL and then put Facebook so I can see where they're coming from. Or I could get more specific. I could have ad set number 1, ad set number 2, which then starts to allow me to see where people are coming from. So definitely look into UTM tracking. You should be using it already, but just to utilize it a bit more than we would have had to in the past before the updates. Tip number 2, separate iOS 14 users and Android users. So we've seen a real increase in Android. Before, iOS users were actually the best quality as far as converting. But now, if you separate them, almost guarantee, you will see a difference with Android users and iOS because there's so many holes in iOS for people opting out. Whereas if you're separating them as well, you're able to scale it a little bit easier with your Android, whereas your iOS might have a few more holes. So definitely at least split test it and see if it works for you and your product. Just do an A/B test, iOS users, Android and Android users. Tip number 3, expand your lookalike audience. Use 5%, not 1%. We've always said 1%, but we have now expanded it to 5% and it's been working well. Once again, all these tips you have to test yourself, because at the moment things are they're not 100% certain. So you really do need to test them for you, because what works for me may not work for you. Number 4 is test your attribution windows. So test 1-day clicks. This is really good on maybe a lower ticket item. If you've got a product that people will buy on impulse, a lot of fashion brands can do this, or an item of interest, something unique, test it on a 1-day click. See how that goes. Number 5, use or aggregate. I can speak, I promise. Use or aggregated events. Facebook aggregated events. I'm just going to say beep instead of using that word today. Events measurement is a protocol that allows for measurement of web events. So I've actually just taken this from Facebook in case you don't know what it is. But basically now you're allowed to put 8 conversions on your website with your pixel and track those. So you need to pick the top 8 ones. We have, for the first few weeks with ours, we did the top 8, and then we kept testing the other 2, maybe variables, and we've pretty much settled on all our websites on what we think or what we know based on our data to be the top 8 conversion events, and you can prioritize it too. So make sure that's another thing, make sure you verify it. So this was taken from Facebook, so that's the source, just so you know. I've put the link in there. It says source, but it's hidden behind my head. But yes, use all of them. Reset and relaunch. Now this one's interesting, because in the past, once you've got ads running, you don't touch it. You need the Facebook algorithm to have that time. But people are finding, so you launch a campaign, it's doing really well, and then all of a sudden it drops. What we've found is reset it. Just reset it. You can reset the engagement, start that afresh, reset it on an ad set level, or reset the campaign, depending on where you're seeing the drop. The resetting it and relaunching it is causing large spikes. So it'll go up for a couple of days and then it comes down, and we're able to reset it and see spikes again. But do not reset it if it's going well, obviously. If it's going well and you reset it thinking that maybe you'll get a large spike, that's not going to work. What I'd recommend, if it's doing well, like with anything, is to copy it and reset that and see how that one goes. Let's move on. Stack audiences in retargeting. So once again, in the past, we would say just target one interest or one audience per campaign, but now we're saying just stack them, put them all in there together. We're getting better results. There's a lot of things that we can't really explain with the Facebook algorithm, but definitely try this one out. Tip number 8, focus on your offer. Now this really comes back to how I was saying that the changes that have been forced on us with iOS have increased the quality of marketing, that we really need to focus on the offer. To put an offer that actually stands out to people, to put your best offer forward now. Your quality of marketing really has to increase. There's none of this like just chuck something up and see how it goes, because you used to be able to get sales with that guarantee, but now it's not working. So focus on your offer. Tip number 9. I hope I'm not moving too quickly. I'm sorry if I am. But tip number 9 is keep your copywriting current. So we've found in the ad set that it's been working really well, which is past, but it's just because of the increase in quality. If you're keeping your copywriting current, like if you're talking about current circumstances, if like particularly here at the moment, we're in lockdown, we've been in lockdown for 9 weeks, to put something like that in your ad if you're targeting people who are in lockdown, or to put in about like Black Lives Matter, that sort of thing. When you're keeping current, when you've got something that jumps out at people that is actually already on their mind. Another big thing in Australia as a whole is getting the vaccine. Now that stands out to everyone because it is so current. If you tie stuff like that, I mean, obviously make it relevant, but if you tie stuff like that into your ads, it just grabs their attention, and that's what we want. Tip number 10, third-party tracking. Okay, this is only for people that are making at least 20K per month. If you're not, just don't even look at it. They are very expensive if you don't already have income, stable income. So high roast and wicked reports. Tip number 11, expand. So this is talking about not just being on Facebook. You've got TikTok, you've got Pinterest, you've got Snapchat, Instagram's obviously part of Facebook, Google Ads. If you're only on Facebook, that's, I don't know why you would only be on Facebook, but when was it? 2000 and, I don't know, I'd be making up numbers if I guessed, but Google overnight made some changes, maybe about 10 years ago, and everyone that was 100% relying on Google to get traffic lost everything. Their business is shut down overnight because the way that Google changed, that they got rid of a certain type of ad that people were relying on, and that was it. This has been a pretty big shake-up. A lot of people are moving from Facebook as it is, but if you're 100% relying on that, you need to move into other platforms. Now, I recommend if you can stabilize on 2 and then start to grow from there. So you're never putting all your eggs in one basket. Not to mention, like, okay, we're talking platforms, but you can also be focusing on SEO. You know, you can be writing blogs, you can be growing organically, right? It doesn't just have to be on a platform. But if you're only on Facebook, it's time to move out and try some other things. TikToks are having great results for certain niches. E-commerce brands, they're doing fantastic. Clothing brands, sorry. So definitely look into where else you can be. Pinterest, no one looks at Pinterest. But Pinterest is like so easy to get on. It takes almost no time to be pinning stuff and starting to put those links in. And the traffic's crazy. The thing with Pinterest that people don't realize, Pinterest, YouTube, and Google are not social platforms. They're search engines. So when people are on Pinterest, they're searching for it. So they're actually looking. If you're showing up to them, you know, they're looking for that. They're more warm leads than what you're getting off other platforms with cold targeting. And okay, this one is really important. Video is king, 100%. TikTok's changed the world. So Instagram's now announced that they're going to be going to a predominantly video-based platform. They're like, why do you think YouTube's got shorts showing up and Instagram's got reels? Everyone's trying to compete because people are over on TikTok. And when they're on TikTok, the average is 82 minutes a day. Like, people are consuming a huge amount of content on TikTok. So you need to be making video. If you were previously just posting pictures and thinking that's good enough, it probably was. And on Instagram, you'll have a bit of reach still, but videos is where everything is going. You need to jump on that train now, start creating video content. Don't, like, seriously, if you take anything from this video, go and start making videos for every platform. Sorry. This is the last point. But focusing on average order value and lifetime value, it is easier to sell more to a current customer than it is to acquire a new customer. So, for instance, you've got an e-commerce store, you're selling hot dogs. You now need to look at, what else can I sell with that hot dog? Oh, okay, I could put in a fancy bun. Like, they could upgrade onto that to get that bun and then put some cheese on it. What else can you put in front of your customers, upsell them so that your average order value goes up? Instead of selling a $5 hot dog, you've got all these extra add-ons. You know, people are interested in hot dogs because they wouldn't be buying the original hot dog. Give them all these other things, upsell them. So then instead of it being worth $5, you know, an average order value is $5, get it up to $20. If your average order is $28 selling, I don't know, baby pants, add some baby t-shirts. What else can complement your products? And then your retargeting with your lifetime value. Your e-marketing is huge. If you can get people onto your email list, they're more likely to buy from you. Like I said, it's easier to sell to a current customer than it is to acquire a new customer. So make their lifetime value higher. You really just have to think, what else can we add? Even if you've already got upsells, what else can you add to that? You can always add. People love buying. Okay, so that's all. That's my 13 tips to go and implement. But please, please, please get onto video content, number one. And if you need any help with your ads and you're an e-commerce store owner, I would love to have a chat with you. I'll stick a link below this video in the description. It is below, yeah. But please leave a like, thumbs up, blah, 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 all that good stuff. And subscribe so you can get more tips and tricks about scaling your Shopify store.